Swept across over 950 square miles of southern Pennsylvania is Lancaster County, a charming region with a creative city, historic townships, and clusters of small communities which lead traditional, technology-free lives. Stitched together with the threads of tradition and creativity, Lancaster County is a patchwork quilt of rolling countryside, small farming villages, and its captivating city of the same name. This rural corner of Pennsylvania is well known for its population of Amish, Mennonite, and other communities known as Plain People. The groupings are committed to a life of simplicity and humility, foregoing the trappings of modern technology. In the 1720s, these minority communities fled persecution in Europe and began a new life in this remote region, which soon became known as Pennsylvania Dutch Country. The best way to explore these rolling fields and quaint villages is by car, and the first stop on your Lancaster County road trip is the small farming community of Ronks. Call into the Amish village to ease into Dutch Pennsylvania's gentle way of life. Explore the village's traditional barn, a fine example of Amish fellowship and camaraderie. Then wander the rest of the 12-acre community and witness this simple yet joyful culture. Ronks is also home to the Cherry Crest Adventure Farm, where local farmers delight in demonstrating their heritage through what they call agritainment. Say hello to friendly barnyard animals and roam through the amazing Maize Maze, a 5-acre labyrinth of corn crops. To experience Lancaster County's theatrical gifts, catch a show at the nearby Sight and Sound theaters, which has long been reimagining the greatest Bible stories on stage. Hit the road for the short drive to the town of Intercourse, home to Kitchen Kettle Village. Starting life as a family jelly-making business in 1954, the village serves up some of the tastiest flavors Lancaster County has to offer. Learn more about the area's farming and trade history in Strasburg, Lancaster's most historic town. Strasburg began as a village along the Great Conestoga Road, which was once the main thoroughfare between Philadelphia and the West. Known as Traintown, USA, be sure to visit some of the world's most iconic locomotives at Railroad Museum of Pennsylvania and the Strasburg Railroad while you're in here. Once you've explored Strasburg, make tracks and pull up a chair to a hearty meal at Good and Plenty, which has been serving traditional Amish fare since 1969. When your belly's full, treat yourself to a musical feast at the American Music Theater, which hosts touring shows, celebrity concerts, and original productions. Change of pace, spend an afternoon at Dutch Wonderland, where the kids can get their fill of old school and adrenaline. As you venture throughout the county's rolling hills and farmlands, you'll cross many covered bridges. In years gone by, these became known as kissing bridges for the brief moment of privacy they gave starry-eyed couples out on their evening strolls. Once you've explored the rural byways and villages of Lancaster County, make yourself at home in Lancaster City. This is a city that proudly honors and preserves its history. Discover the first chapter of historic dwellings in Lancaster County and step inside a Native American longhouse built in the traditional style of Pennsylvania's First Nations. Then call into 300-year-old Hans Hare House, the oldest surviving homestead in Lancaster County. Finally, explore Rockford Plantation, the illustrious estate of Edward Hand, a general in the Revolutionary War. Apart from its many historic homes, Lancaster City has long cultivated an intense passion for art. You'll feel it in the lovingly curated exhibits of the city's many galleries, the dazzling lights and performances of Fulton Theater, and the art boutiques lining the streets of Gallery Row. The city's love of tradition and creation was born in Central Market, the oldest farmers market in the USA. Savor homemade pickles, creamy cheeses, and crusty sourdoughs, whose recipes have been passed through the generations since the market first opened in 1730. Welcome to Lancaster, a county where life's wholesome pleasures are cultivated in tradition, community, and its bountiful soils. So wander across these bridges into simpler times, and you'll soon understand why there's just no point in changing things to keep up when life is already this good.
There's so many moments we could touch on for being the Stillhouse Unbreakable Top 5, but we're going to kick it off with our number 5 moment. It was a very close call for the French surfer Tristan Golbald with the Huntington Beach Pier. Taking a look at those pilings there.
Yeah, we already saw this, but this was really sketchy. I mean, straight up into it. Right here, he notices, oh, wow, there's the tee. I have to negotiate it, and dives off. And somehow, he was able to not get a zero ding on a surfboard, no scratches whatsoever. He goes through the pier instantly, gone from view. We're like, where is he? And he comes around running. No worries. Had it made with exactly no dings and no scratches.
Coming in at number 4, it was Kalohe Andino's tube this morning, coming through at a 5.67 Kipes.
Look at this, shacked and finds the little doggy door exit, Kalohe Andino. And this was a point of difference. It's been turns and airs so far, and then the tube came into play. Unfortunately, Kolohe unable to advance out of that heat.
Coming through at number 3, Pete Jadson took to the turns.
Yeah, he sure did.
7-1-7 and a 5-6-7.
Yeah, he did. And this was Jaddy just having fun. He had been paying attention to what the judges wanted to see out of the surfers, and he went out there and executed it. It was fun to see. I love watching Jadson get through a couple heats and build momentum. It was good for him. He's going to find his way into that next day of competition in the round. He still has to get through, I think, the round of 24, but good surfing in that earlier round.
And taking the opposite approach into the air was Eitan Osborne.
Eitan Osborne, and that was definitely a contender for the Flying Embers air of the day. Big, lofty, flat rotation. This kid's got talent, and he's got an air game as well.
So fun to watch. Always Eitan Osborne taking to the air. Well, taking out the number 1 spot for the Stillhouse Unbreakable 5, Imai Kalani DeVault, Van's team rider, takes it into the round of 16.
Yeah, he did. And he put some excellent numbers up here. Put a 15.67, I think, 2-wave heat total. So the biggest of the round for sure, biggest of the day. So congratulations to him. I think the only surfer to actually eclipse him as far as point total was actually Caroline Marks in the women's side. So congratulations to Imai, building momentum.
Took out an 8-1-7 and a 7-5-7 in that heat, and he's into the next round. We've got a huge day of surfing ahead of us tomorrow. It's been a good one calling the action alongside the two of you. Thanks so much for all the enjoyable heats.
good?
Boeing was my goal. I was passionate about airplanes, rocket science. I knew I wanted to do aerospace, having all those different variety of opportunities. Hi, I'm Emily Schneiders, and I am a T-7A flight test conductor. I started at Boeing as an intern out in Seattle working on 787. I did a 2-year rotational program. My first job was working in the final delivery center and just walking past the F-15s and F-18s as I walked into work. That was definitely a mind-blowing experience. After that, I went into Boeing Next and worked on the cargo air vehicle. It was a rapid, fast-paced prototyping program. Since then, I've moved over to T-7 and I'm the flight test conductor here in St. Louis. A T-7 is a trainer aircraft. It's a fighter jet used to train new fighter pilots. It's exciting, the diversity of opportunity. You can have 5 careers at Boeing. I am one who likes to try different things, go to commercial, defense, space. And so if you're interested in one area and you want to try that out, you can jump to a different place. But on the flip side, if you really love something and you see yourself going deep into that subject and staying there, that's something you can do at Boeing. Lots of folks are very familiar with Puget Sound and everything Boeing's doing out there, but that's just a small section. We're all over in the world. If you are wanting to stay in a specific region, there's opportunities there. I would say Boeing is a cool place to work. What sets Boeing apart is working on planes for me. A lot of the new technologies we're working on and that have been developed by Boeing are changing the world.
Hi, I'm Dan Nicol from Dan Really Likes Wine, and my Pick and Pay Wine of the Week this week sees me head to Darling for a really good deal. This is the Chocoholic Pinotage. I love the label. It's got that cool vintage, almost cartoon-like throwback, and that mirrors what's inside. It's a really fun wine to drink that plays off those chocolate hints that you get in a lot of Pinotage. Think of Demos Fontaine Pinotage, for example. This is not just a really fun wine to drink, but it's a really good value wine to drink because we're giving you a case at Pick and Pay, not for the usual 420 Rand, but for just 315 Rand instead. That's a massive saving on a wine I think you're really going to enjoy. Out of the Darling area, it is one to look forward to and one you can get for a really good deal. So make sure you're part of that wine club. If you're not, just send your Smart Shopper number through to the number on screen at the moment. Bang off that SMS. You'll be a member free of charge and you'll get some fantastic deals like this one. 315 Rand for a case of Chocoholic Pinotage. That is a pretty good deal.
The Kalahari's got its own draw. It's vast and it's forever. You've just got to get into those sand dunes on your own, and there you're going to find a lot of solitude. It can seem like a place of massive emptiness, but you suddenly find 5, 6 different animal tracks right there. There's this huge amount of life, and when I'm on a filming project, I really like to try and live like the animals do so that I can experience the hardships that they're going through. I want to see wildlife in a totally different context, and that's really, I suppose, what draws me to the Kalahari. It's the vastness and the openness. I really enjoy being able to see these massive distances. Those are great images and things that stick with you.
August 4th, 1944. During World War II, Anne Frank and her family are among 8 people arrested in German-occupied Amsterdam. That happens when Nazi police raid the secret annex of her father's office building, where they have been hiding. Anne's father, Otto, is the only one who survives after the 15-year-old and her German-born Jewish family are sent to concentration camps. Following the war, he publishes the diary that Anne kept while in hiding, a famous account of the Holocaust. 1914. In the outbreak of World War I, Britain declares war on Germany. The United States proclaims its neutrality, but joins the war on the side of the Allies more than 3 years later. 1964.
For you live in the shadow of 10 feet of road, if you're Goodman and Schwerner and Cheney.
In Mississippi, the bodies of 3 missing civil rights workers are found buried in an earthen dam. That happens 6 weeks after Ku Klux Klansmen ambush and kill Andrew Goodman, Michael Schwerner, and James Cheney. The 3 workers disappeared while trying to help blacks register to vote. 1892. Andrew and Abby Borden are axed to death in their home in Fall River, Massachusetts. Lizzie Borden, Andrew's daughter from a previous marriage, is accused of the killings. She is later acquitted. And 1901. Louis Armstrong, the jazz legend considered one of the greatest musicians of the 20th century, is born in New Orleans. Today in History, August 4th. Camille Bohannon, The Associated Press.
Welcome back in our studio, and in today's news,